All right, today we're going to break down a really powerful framework for high performance. We're going to go way beyond the typical talk about passion and motivation and get into a much more durable, strategic system for success. It's called the Discipline Multiplier. But first, I want to start with a question for you, a pretty challenging one. What if that high-octane drive, that motivation that you have, the very thing that probably got you to where you are right now, what if it's actually become the biggest risk in your entire professional toolkit? It's a wild thought, I know, but it's right at the heart of what we're digging into. So this slide really gets to the core of it. On one side, you've got motivation. Let's call it the mirage. It's flashy, it feels good, but it's driven by emotion. It's short-lived, and you know what? It completely falls apart under pressure. But on the other side, you've got discipline. That's the engine. It's built on systems, it's steady, it's sustainable, and it's designed to keep going no matter what. The difference couldn't be clearer. One is for starting things, the other is for finishing them. You see, a lot of leaders get hooked on this sugar rush of drive. It feels amazing in the moment, gives you a huge burst of energy, but it's a super volatile emotional fuel. And for anyone who needs to be consistent, which is every leader, running your career on unpredictable emotional highs isn't a strategy. It's a systemic failure just waiting to happen. And the cost of that failure? It's very real. It leads directly to something called decision fatigue. Every single time you have to force yourself, using sheer willpower, to get something important done, you are draining your most valuable asset, your cognitive bandwidth, your brain's processing power. And that directly compromises the high-stakes thinking that your job demands. So how do we fix this? How do we get off that roller coaster? Well, we stop relying on emotion and we start building a machine. And that brings us to the first part of the solution, engineering your habit engine. The habit engine. It's a really powerful idea. Think of it as a system that you design to move your most critical behaviors onto neurological autopilot. The whole point is to completely bypass that daily exhausting battle of willpower so you can save your precious mental energy for the things that actually matter. And the mechanics of this engine are actually super simple. It's based on a classic model you might have heard of, the habit loop. It's just 3 steps. First, there's the cue, that's the trigger. Second is the routine, that's the behavior you want to install. And third is the reward. That's the reinforcement that tells your brain, hey, do that again. So how do you actually use this? Well, a really effective technique is called habit stacking. You just anchor a new habit you want to build onto a routine you already have. So for example, the anchor is finishing your morning debrief. The new habit you stack on top, immediately document one strategic takeaway. Or another one, your anchor is opening your laptop for the first time. The new habit you stack, immediately review your 3 non-negotiable KPIs for the day. You're just linking the new to the automatic. Now here is the absolute key. You can't miss this. You don't try to overhaul your entire life overnight. You start small. We're talking minimum viable habits. Instead of a 2-hour deep dive, think of a 5-minute strategy review. These tiny wins are amazing because they bypass our natural resistance, they build momentum, and they are incredibly resilient, especially when things get crazy and stressful. Okay, so you've got these tiny, powerful habits brewing, but where do they fit? They need a home to live and thrive. So that brings us to the next layer, architecting your daily structure. And this quote right here just says it all, doesn't it? A leader who cannot manage their own time and impulses loses the respect and trust of their organization. A lack of personal structure isn't just inefficient for you, it actually erodes your authority and the trust your team has in you. So what does a strong, high-performance structure actually look like? Well, it's typically built on 5 core strategic components. You've got your morning rituals to prime your mind for the day. You've got your protected, deep work blocks for your most valuable tasks. You've got buffer zones between meetings to manage transitions, scheduled energy breaks to prevent burnout, and finally, an evening shutdown routine to properly recover and plan for the next day. And having this kind of structure forces a really important shift in how you think. You start focusing on your systems instead of just your goals. Look, a goal, like a quarterly KPI, that's just the destination on a map. But a system, your daily operational cadence, that's the vehicle that's actually going to get you there. You don't hit your targets by staring at them. You hit them by running the system day in and day out. And this is where it gets really exciting. This is where we start to see the payoff. Let's talk about activating the multiplier effect and the incredible compounding power of consistency. Now, I want you to completely reframe how you think about discipline. It is not some finite resource that you spend and then run out of. No way. It's a momentum loop. Think of it like a muscle. Every single time you make a disciplined choice, you're strengthening that muscle, which makes the next choice just a little bit easier. It's a self-reinforcing cycle. And that cycle creates this incredible domino effect. The first domino is something simple, like waking up at your designated time without hitting snooze. That knocks over the next one, executing your morning ritual, which then knocks over the next, tackling your hardest task first. You see, one small, disciplined win kicks off a chain reaction of high performance that can last the entire day. At the very heart of this multiplier effect is a concept called the pause muscle. What is it? It's your ability to create a little gap, a space, between a stimulus and your response. And the amazing thing is, when you strengthen this muscle, whether it's by sticking to your workout or your budget, that strength translates everywhere, especially into high-stakes negotiations, allowing you to act with intention and strategy instead of just reacting emotionally. So all of this, the habits, the structure, the momentum, it all leads to the final and most profound transformation. This is about moving from just doing disciplined things to being a disciplined leader. It's a fundamental shift in your identity. Just listen to the power in this language shift. The goal-focused version says, I am trying to wake up earlier. You can hear how fragile that is, right? It implies that you might fail. But the identity-based version says, I am a person who values a productive start. That is resilient. It's not about what you're trying to do, it's about who you are. Let's look at another one, just to really drive this home. I am trying to reduce overhead. That feels temporary, like a project. But I am a disciplined leader who makes smart, high ROI financial decisions. That's a core principle. That's an identity. This isn't just playing with words. It's a deep reprogramming that makes consistency the easiest path to follow. And all of this brings us to this beautiful, kind of counterintuitive idea, a paradox, really. True professional freedom, the autonomy to be creative, to think big, to be spontaneous. That freedom is only possible when it's built on a foundation of discipline. These systems aren't a cage. They are the very structure that gives you the freedom to soar. So if you take one thing away from our time today, let it be this thought. Discipline is not a burden to be carried. It is the silent engine of all future success. It's the framework that moves you from a life of impulse and reaction to a life of intention and impact, and it expands the very boundaries of what's possible for you.